everybody, and welcome back to Nerdly Out Loud. And just like that, I am back with another one. It's been a minute since I came into the booth and recorded anything because, well, Storm Arwen. Yeah, he came, he saw, he conquered, and the studio that I currently sit in, which is literally a shed in my back garden that is retrofitted to be awesome and sound great for you guys. It's pretty much waterlogged. I thought I'd survived, but it turns out that the felt that got ripped off it's just totally waterlogged, the whole damn thing. So really my heart hasn't been in it to really sit down and do any reviews. It's kind of been a little bit, I don't know, like I've just not really been all that interested, but I have been watching some absolute belters, so now it's time for me to get back in the way of things and crack on, because you know what? The show must go on, and the show is Nerdly Out Loud. We are the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for all of your news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. We like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget. And that's kind of what I really want to take a second right now, because you guys have been tuning in and you've been watching a lot of these independent reviews, and I've been getting some great feedback for some of the smaller budget movies that I review. It's cool. And that's kind of what made me want to get back into the booth today, because I watched a movie the other night that, while everything has been a little bit crap within the studio and whatnot, and just outside world, I mean, my garden's a wreck as well, that's pretty cool. I did sit down to watch a low-budget Irish movie that I just have to talk about. I went straight on Twitter, I went straight on Instagram, followed all the actresses in this movie, followed the director, couldn't help myself. I just needed to let these guys know about this movie. But now I need to let you guys know about this movie. Before we get into that review, though, I would like to ask you all to do those wonderful, awesome things, which is to hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell, and leave me a like underneath this video. Put something in the comments. Let me know that you saw this review. Let me know that you saw the movie. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of the movie, and we will have some sort of civil discussion about it. If you're going to trash the movie, well, that's up to you, but I might not answer you. Simple as. But yeah, do all of those fantastic, awesome things. And if you get a minute, head over to nerdly.co.uk, which is our website. It's our base. It's our home. Please do go there and read the many reviews that get put out there. Phil's churning out 101 reviews a day, and we've got some great contributors, some great podcasters, and I want everybody to check all that good stuff out. We're going to get into this review, which is of a low-budget Irish movie called Deadly Cuts. And oh boy, was I not in the mood for this movie on that particular night. Let's talk about Deadly Cuts.
And now, our feature presentation.
Once again, you all know the score when it comes to me and reviewing these movies. I have a certain way that I like to do things, and I'm going to continue doing that until I feel like it gets stale. It's getting pretty stale right now, but you know what? Whatever. We'll just keep rolling with it until I don't like doing it. So we are going to cover the plot of the movie, what the movie is about, and everything good like that. Then we are going to cover the cast and the characters, which I think the women in this movie, it's mostly a female-centric cast, but the women in this movie are superb, so I'm going to gush about them in that section, spoiler alert. And then I like to talk about what I did like and what I did not like about this movie. And then we'll roll into my final thoughts, my Nerdly Out Loud rating, which is my rating. It's not the rating of Nerdly as a whole. Deadly Cuts tells us the story of a hair salon in Dublin. It's a pretty rough part of Dublin, and we meet four girls. Three young girls and one lady who's like kind of runs the store, and she kind of keeps an eye on all these girls and keeps them on the straight and narrow. So we meet Stacey, Gemma, and Chantel, and of course the de facto leader, I guess, of our foursome is Michelle, played by Angeline Ball. And like I say, we will gush about these girls when we get onto the next segment, because they did such a fantastic job. But we'll get there. So yeah, they're in a pretty rough part of Dublin, which this little town, it's Piglin's town, is kind of overrun by the local youth. like the local villains, and they've sort of got everyone scared, and they're making people like not really like living there, and they're all scared to go outside the front door and everything like that. And the salon is kind of a place for people to go where it's sort of like a safe haven in a way, because who's going to mess with the girls that cut your hair? Nobody's going to do that. That's mental. And they've all kind of got their own little aspirations, these girls. One of them really wants to move over to Spain to live with her mum, who runs a salon over there. You've got one who's just a total science whiz kid nerd when it comes to the hairdressing. She's great. And then you've got the de facto leader, like I say, the woman that runs the shop, who it turns out as the movie goes on could have been someone in the hairdressing world. She could have made her way on the grandest stage, which is great to say. But, you know, because certain stuff and things happen in the past, she kind of just is where she is. But she's making the best of what she's got. Now, there's this competition coming up, and it's like a hairdressing competition for a TV channel like Our Hair or something like that. It's mad. So they've got this competition coming up, and the girls want to take part. The lady Michelle, who runs the store, she doesn't really want to take part. She doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Now, the villains that I mentioned a little bit earlier, one of them comes into the store one night and he's giving them shit and he wants paid and he's like offering protection for money and whatnot, like these guys do. And then, yeah, one of the ladies kills him. And then the movie goes from there. And it becomes this really hilarious little story about these girls who now find themselves in a situation like they have to deal with the body, which they do fantastically, by the way, in a scene that I just, as soon as the girl farts, I was done. I was creasing. I was done. But it sort of becomes the fact that now this guy's out of the town, he's out of the village, and everybody's looking for these heroes and who got rid of him, and they kind of find themselves in this position where the power's now with them. But they have this competition coming up and they need to get ready for it, and it's all good and stuff and things. And that is, the story runs through to the end like that. Like any good movie, any good Irish movie, any good story, there are twists abound and things that are going to happen. We're going to find out things about our cast, and it's all good stuff. I'm now going to move into my cast and characters because I cannot wait to talk about these women. And again, Michelle, the leader of the group, played by Angeline Ball, she is wonderful. Just really kind of keeping things nice and tightly wound to keep her character very interesting. You want to know what her backstory is because there clearly is one here. And when you do get it, it's worth it. It's very much worth it. You have Ericka who plays Stacey. Wow, she's so bloody good in this movie. I will throw my hands up in the air right now and I will say that Angeline Ball, I have seen her in things. All of these girls, they've got superstar written all over them. And Angeline Ball, you may know her, but Ericka, Laura Larkin, Shauna, Higgins, you might not know these girls because they are very much on the up and up. And I've said it on Twitter, these girls are like the stars of tomorrow. They're already made, packaged. They've already got everything you need. If you can make a comedy like this and make me laugh for about 90 minutes, you've won. You've won, and yes. So Ericka, she is absolutely wonderful. And the relationship between herself and Lauren Larkin, and of course Shauna Higgins, who is the little science geek whiz. Shauna Higgins, for me, personally, kind of steals the movie. And I hate saying that because they're all so great. But the few scenes that she's in, because she's not in all of the scenes, but she's in a few scenes, and I have to say, she steals the movie for me. She absolutely steals it. As good as Ericka is, as good as Lauren Larkin is, as good as Angeline Ball is, she steals the movie for me. I think she's excellent, and long may this continue. I want to see her in more stuff. I want to see all these girls in more stuff. I'm not going to take anything away from anyone. So I might as well just move on. Oh, wait a minute. Damn, yeah. No, I'll save that for what I did and didn't like, which we're doing now. So that was a bit redundant. What I will say is what I did and didn't like. I loved the fact that Pauline McLean turns up in this movie. Yes, Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted turns up in this movie for a handful of cameo scenes. She's wonderful. She is Mrs. Doyle. I absolutely love that woman. And when she turns up, it just puts a smile on my face. Like, I miss Father Ted. I miss that show. I miss good TV of that ilk. and we don't get it anymore. So when you see someone turning up from that era, from that time, coming into a movie of today, I just love it. And she's great, and you know, all I really wanted her to do was like just be like, go on, cup of tea, go on. That was a terrible impression. I loved her. Another thing I love about this movie is the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this movie is actually really cool. I will go on record and say I've never heard Irish rap before. There is a little, I mean, unless you count House of Pain, but that wasn't really Irish rap. It was just, they were just rapping about Irish things like shamrocks and shenanigans and leprechauns and whatnot. This movie has some Irish rap. I genuinely want to hear me some Irish rap. I'll probably buy a soundtrack. If you give me an Irish rap album, I will listen to the shit out of that album. I genuinely thought the soundtrack of this movie, though, like, it really tells a story of a time. It really tells a story of a place the way it is, like the bad boy yardies and the girls in the salon. It mixes nicely. It all melds very, very nicely. It's hard to say what I didn't like, because I do think that director Rachel Carey, this is, I believe, her debut feature. I read online that she'd made a couple of short movies, but this is her first proper feature, and it's a very well executed feature movie. If anything, I maybe could have had it been a little bit longer. I think the darker side of the story, the whole fact that they killed a man, by the way, they killed a man, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more venturing into that area. But then it starts to take away from the chemistry of the girls if we do that. If we spend too much time exploring the dark side and turning this movie into like a Christopher Nolan movie, then we're kind of going to lose what I loved about this movie. So I guess something that I didn't like is something I was okay with, because I might have lost something elsewhere, I think. But yeah, like I just, there's not really anything I didn't like. I think this movie is very well made. It's very well executed. I think the girls are all fantastic. I think director Rachel Carey has a wonderful team behind her, because this movie also looks pretty sick. It looks really, really nice on the eye. Like, you've got a good DOP hanging around you there as well. So that's always positive for me. Yeah, so I guess I might as well just move into my final rating, which my final rating, I'm gonna give this a 4.5. I really want to give it a 5, but I don't know. Like, I don't. Do I just give it a 5? No. I'm gonna stick to my guns, and I'm gonna go for a 4.5. The movie is fantastic. It's very well done. Shauna Higgins, Lauren Larkin, Ericka Rowe, like, it's not often that I'll run to Twitter or run to Instagram, search these people up, follow them, just so I can let them know how much I love this movie. I genuinely loved Deadly Cuts, and I want everyone to check this movie out. If it's the only thing you do this week, whenever you're watching this, whenever you're listening to this, watch Deadly Cuts. I think you'll love it. It's a great Irish story, just a great Irish movie with some wonderful Irish acting. And Rachel Carey, I'm going to be keeping an eye on anything that you are doing going forward, because I think, much like I said when I watched Promising Young Woman, I think, like, this is a female director who has it, just has it, and I can't wait to see what you do next. I'm giving it a 4.5, but it is the strongest 4.5 I could give. You may as well just call it a 5. And if you want to call it a 5, you can. I don't mind. So yeah, that is it. That is Deadly Cuts. I need you to check this movie out. I love this movie. I think everybody's going to really get a kick out of this. It's the right movie at the right time. Everything's a little bit crap right now. You know, we're possibly going into more pandemic shenanigans. Boris is back to his regular shithousery. I'm going to go, but please do, like I said at the start, all those wonderful, amazing things, please do hit that like, hit that subscribe, and ding that notification bell. If you've seen the movie, if you want to see the movie, if you're going to see the movie, hit me with a comment down below and we will talk about this movie. Seriously though, support these girls, support all of these actresses, Angeline, Lauren, Shauna, Ericka, support all of them. This director, Rachel Carey, support her. Independent cinema is so bloody important, and when you find independent cinema as good as this, it needs to be supported. So please do all those wonderful things. And I'll be back soon with another.